My productivity and focus was nothing I had experienced before. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel, Skylife. This video is all about my experience trying neurofeedback for 1 month. You might be wondering, what the heck is neurofeedback? And that's exactly what I first thought when I first came across it. I was listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, one of my all-time favorite podcasts. Joe Rogan fans, smash that like button. So anyways, I was listening to Joe Rogan interview this guy named Dr. Andrew Hill, who is a neuroscientist with a PhD in cognitive neuroscience from UCLA. And after looking up Dr. Hill, I discovered that he runs a facility called Peak Brain Institute, which is conveniently really close to where I live in LA. On the website, Peak Brain is described as a gym for your brain, helping you overcome cognitive challenges and meet your peak performance goals. Now, I am always looking to enhance my productivity, focus, cognitive enhancement. So when I saw this, I needed to learn more. I went to Peak Brain Institute and I talked to Dr. Andrew Hill to find out what this neurofeedback thing is all about. What is neurofeedback?
Neurofeedback, we go directly after the brain and exercise things involuntarily. So your brain's doing billions of things all at once. We measure those things moment to moment, and when the right thing happens, we go, good job, brain, with audio and visual input. When the wrong things happen, we withhold that input. And over time, we move the goalposts and gently shape the brain activity further and further in one direction, then figure out if that's the right direction for your performance goals.
So how are you actually doing that? What mechanisms are you using?
Let me give you a concrete example. ADHD is a state where your brain makes too much theta and not enough beta. It's a high theta-beta ratio for most people. So if you come in with ADHD, we look at your theta moment to moment over parts of the brain involved with attention regulation. Whenever the theta goes down, we say, good job, brain, and a spaceship flies faster, a Pac-Man eats dots.
So you're watching this happen?
You're watching audio and visual input, and the input is added whenever the brain moves in the right direction and withheld when the brain moves in the wrong direction. So this ends up being a form of conditioning. It's operant or instrumental conditioning.
Even as Dr. Hill was explaining neurofeedback to me, I still did not totally understand what exactly it was during this interview. After having done it for a month, I now understand. So I'm going to break it down for you just so you have a good understanding of what it is before we really dive into the rest of the video.
Neurofeedback is a type of biofeedback that monitors your brainwaves using something called an electroencephalogram, or EEG, and then shows your brainwaves back to you using a video game-like mechanism. But you're not actually playing the video game, you're just kind of watching it play out. And how it plays out is basically what's happening behind the scenes of your brain. So you're seeing your brain's activity through the game being played back to you on a screen, which is then responding with audio and visual cues, all designed to train your brain to produce certain brainwaves that will hopefully result in a positive impact. There are different types of neurofeedback, and there's even some dispute in the field about what's the right type, but that's generally how it works, and that's how Peak Brain Institute does their neurofeedback training. What types of conditions have you seen neurofeedback to really help?
There's something that are low-hanging fruit for neurofeedback. Those include ADHD, anxiety, sleep issues, migraines, and seizures. ADHD can be eliminated with traditional sort of SMR-based neurofeedback, low beta training neurofeedback. Eliminated maybe 90% of the time in about 3-4 months of training. 30-40 sessions of training, gone for good in most people for classic ADHD. Same's true of anxiety, sleep issues. We can often really ratchet down seizures. Research suggests that the average person receives more than a 50% reduction in seizures, and 5% of people go a full year of no seizures after neurofeedback. We also do a lot of work with brain injuries, with PTSD, OCD, but mostly we work on broad brain health regulatory things. So no matter what you come in for, I'm probably going to want to work on your sleep, stress, mood, and attention for a few weeks, get those things moving, remap your brain, see what's changed, see what hasn't changed, refocus our understanding of your brain based on the goals, and then do some more training to try to get more things shifting.
For me personally, I would love to work on overall focus and optimizing my cognitive functioning.
Great.
I would love to work on energy. I've been having a lot of fatigue recently, and I don't know why. I'm not sure what the issue is. It might have to do with stress.
We would normally re-regulate your sleep, If you have a problem falling asleep easily, would fix that. If you don't sleep deeply enough, would address that.
Okay.
If you have sleep inertia, where the transition from sleep to wakefulness takes a long time, we would adjust that for you.
It's important to note that at no time during neurofeedback is anything going into your head or brain. What you're seeing here is just the application of a gel that will allow the electrodes to attach to my scalp and therefore monitor my brainwaves through the EEG. The first step was to get a baseline reading of my brain and where I'm at and how I can improve. That consisted of two parts. The first was monitoring my brainwaves to get a baseline reading. The second was taking an attention test. The combination of these two readings would allow Dr. Hill to figure out where my brain's at and how he can use neurofeedback to help improve my brain functioning and anything that I'm struggling with.
We see that alpha is about 2 standard deviations higher than average in the back of the head, especially.
So what does that mean?
That usually means your brain gets stuck in neutral, especially in visual processing. So you brown out, you're a little inattentive.
Right.
Places this might operate is when you're tired, you might have a hard time staying focused. So you probably don't qualify as a true ADHD person, not that I'm in a role of diagnosing you, but you know, there's some slight difficulty in inattention, and not quite as much, but it's still there for impulsivity, for automatic responding before you really want to. Beyond that, your brain looks great, and it gives us some good targets to go after. So for your brain, we're gonna do a fair amount of left side training, which will make you feel super crisp and alert when you're awake, and super asleep when you're asleep. You'll take the 2 states of awake and asleep and make them more dissimilar.
I was gonna say, you're a wizard, but I'm gonna say that after.
When
I get the results.
Exactly.
Even after meeting with Dr. Hill, I still felt like I needed to dig into the research on neurofeedback on my own before I handed over my brain. So that's what I did.
I found a few studies that showed that neurofeedback is quite effective at treating ADHD. One randomized study that I found particularly compelling administered 30-minute EEG neurofeedback sessions to veterans with PTSD. And the results were very clear for the effectiveness of neurofeedback. I even found that neurofeedback is used to train professional and Olympic athletes. With all this promise, though, I did come across some concerns. What I found is there seems to be some disagreement in the field of neurofeedback about how to administer the training properly. One article uncovered many negative side effects that can potentially happen when neurofeedback is not being practiced in the right way. These included everything from fatigue and headaches to even more severe adverse effects such as depression, manic episodes, mood swings, seizures, and deterioration in cognitive functioning. So all of these issues that neurofeedback is supposed to help with, it can also cause. This left me really confused. The article concluded that there needs to be stricter standards of practice in the field of neurofeedback, that it should be administered by a trained professional who really knows what they're doing and knows the brain, and that the process needs to be highly individualized to the brain of the patient undergoing the treatment. This is something that Dr. Hill also stressed the importance of. And that's why I was somewhat okay with handing over my brain to Dr. Hill, who seems to know what he's doing and seems to be one of the best in the field. So I decided to move forward and try it out, even though it was still a little bit scary handing over my brain.
I am a natural skeptic, and with anything that I do or try, I want to approach it with complete objectivity. The worst that can happen is I become incredibly stupid after this. And would that be the worst thing? They say ignorance is bliss. That's a pretty terrible outcome. But if neurofeedback can take me to the next level to help my brain process things faster, to be more productive, then I am all in. Not gonna lie, I watched some crazy Black Mirror last night, and so I'm a little bit freaked out about doing anything like this. Essentially, I'm just looking at this game, but my brain is connected to it, so it's like I'm driving the car with my brain, but I don't know how it works. Am I controlling it with my brain?
You are not. It has no. How you think has no effect on it. How your brain's fluctuating moment to moment does. So it's training your brain, not your mind. It's training resources of your physiology, not your mental states.
I'm trying to get this butterfly to fly through these little hoops. The beeping is the auditory reward telling my brain it's on the right track, and then the visual is me going through, which I just see that was bad. Just to give you an idea,
this is what a typical session is like. Very exciting.
It's been a little up and down, and I don't know really if it's because of the neurofeedback or because I've just been going through a lot of life stuff, a big move, and have been really tired because of that. But we're trying a couple different things to kind of stabilize the effects and the protocols.
The first week and a half were very shaky, and I was having a lot of trouble waking up in the morning. I was getting really tired in the afternoon. This is something they told me, that oftentimes your brain's getting used to the training and it can be a little rocky.
I've been feeling a little bit weird. The benefits haven't really been coming through. And frankly, I feel a little bit nervous about what's going on in my brain. However, I have heard a lot of stories online of people who have had really incredible results treating everything from depression and anxiety to PTSD and autism and ADHD. And I found this girl named Skylana, which I love. I've never heard that name before, and maybe I'll start calling myself Skylana. It's so cute. Skylana used neurofeedback to help her with anxiety, and it sounds like she has a pretty crazy story to share, so I'm gonna go talk to her and find out more.